In this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about catalysts. What is a catalyst? Who is a catalyst? And what part they play in our advancement as twin flames. I know I've had one catalyst relationship prior to meeting my twin flame, and quite possibly a couple others. Let's see, we're 2015, so 15 odd years ago I thought I had met the one, and it was as strange an encounter as the one that I currently had. That doesn't make any sense. Though the person I was just, I don't even know. It's not even a relationship. The person I am referring to as my twin flame, how's that? So the one before that, I met online. It was the late 90s, I guess it was 1999, and I was hanging out in a chat room back then. Kind of a novel thing, and it was a lesbian chat room, and I found that my quick wit and ability to write got me far in that landscape. And I met quite a few women doing so. I was a regular in this chat room. I guess I had been going there for nearly a year and had got to know all the regulars and even the administrators, and had actually been asked to be a moderator. And so I recognized all of the regular nicknames. And this one day, I saw a nickname I hadn't seen before, so I stepped up and welcomed this new person, and we got to chatting, and it turned out that she was engaged to be married, like in 2 months' time. So that intrigued me. I was asking questions. What are you doing here if you're getting married to a man? And, you know, we chatted, and she started coming to the chat room, practically every day. And it was mainly to chat with me. And it wasn't long before I had feelings for this person that I had never even seen before. And she had feelings for me. And I begged her not to get married. I guess this isn't easy to talk about either. At the time that I met this person, I was involved in living with someone else. And was chatting it up heavily with somebody else. So that's 3. But the one that I had the strongest feelings for was this one that was due to get married in a couple of months. And when I went down to the States to meet one of these people that I chatted with, I was going to be about an hour away from where this other one lived. So I asked if she would be willing to meet me. So she agreed. So when I went to the airport to take the other girl there to fly home, I hung around the airport waiting for this other one to arrive. And when she arrived, she called out my name. She saw me from the back. And remember, we'd never seen each other before. We never met before. But she called out my name, seeing only my back. She got it right, because it was me. And we sat around the airport for 2 or 3 hours. And then she headed back home and I headed home. And I was kind of relieved when I was on my drive back, because when I met her, she looked nothing like what I imagined she would look like. And I wasn't attracted to her. So I figured, oh, problem solved. So back in the chat room, kept seeing her there, kept talking to her. And against my, I'm not attracted to this person, continued developing feelings. And she got married. And the weekend she got married, I went to visit somebody else from the chat room. And within about a month after she was married, I met her in person again. And our relationship was consummated. And given that we didn't live in the same town, we didn't get to see each other that often, but we spoke on the phone and chatted in the chat room and visited when we could, considering she was married and all. And the last time I saw her, which was about 8-9 months after we first met, I knew she was going to leave her husband. They were fighting. And I had told myself, well, this is what it's going to be, this is what it's going to be, and I have to deal with it. And it's crazy because I felt like what we were doing was wrong. And that should have been a signal to me that it was wrong. Because it wouldn't, a little bit of decorum, propriety, respect. All of that went out the window with this person. So yeah, so when the last time we were together, I remember thinking she was a little off. She put it down to not feeling well. So I guess I didn't make anything of it at the time. But no sooner had I returned home, she stopped returning my calls. So, long story short, the husband was dumped, I was dumped, and she took off with somebody else from the chat room. It wasn't funny at the time, but in retrospect, I got everything I deserved. The person that I was living with left me for somebody in the chat room. The other one that I was cavorting around with had nothing more to do with me. And I wound up alone. And I was dumbfounded. I could not believe this woman would do this to me. With everything that we had been through together, but that was my ego, because I had deemed, this is the one, and to actually admit that I was wrong, this wasn't the one, that just slapped me up the back of the head. And I was in a funk for a good year after that. I was, oh my God. Woe is me. Here I was living alone now, when I had spent my entire adult life living with somebody. I was alone. I was alone. But that was a catalyst, because it was from that point forward that I learned how it felt to be on the receiving end of a dumping, because it was usually me that left the others. And it taught me a little bit about my ego. That it wasn't so much that she had left me that was the problem, and why I was sulking around for so long. It was because I was wrong. How can that be? I had 3 more relationships after that one, within a period of 5-year span. And in each of those relationships, I was dumped. And with each of those dumpings, I took note and thought, oh my God, with all of the things I've done in my past, I got a whole bunch of dumpings waiting for me. I'm getting out of the game. And I got out of the game. I was single a good 7 years before I met my twin flame. So, when I say that I was in a good place when I met my twin flame, and that I was okay with how things were, I had just got over the feeling of, okay, I'm not going to meet the one. I had finally admitted I was not going to meet the one. And then I met the one. Or not. It remains to be seen. I don't know. So, it can be said that each relationship that we have is a catalyst of some sort. And then the next question remains, a catalyst for what? Change, obviously. Change in what? Ourselves. How so? That's our choice. What do we learn from these things that happen to us?